All right, I made a few extra practice problems for solving equations with absolute values. So let's just jump right into it. Now, I'm going to back up a little step here. If I have a problem such as the absolute value of x equals 4, let's say, and you're thinking what on the number line is 4 units away from 0? Okay, so here's 0. I'm looking for 4 units away in either direction. So what are my answers? Two answers, -4 or 4. That's why there's two answers to this problem. What's inside of here? If I plug in a 4, I do that with a different color. If I put a 4 here, the absolute value of 4 is 4 units from 0. If I put a -4, the absolute value of -4 is also 4 units away from 0. So this is what's inside the absolute value. This 4 on the right side is the 4 up on top, where it's the distance. So keep that in mind when we're doing all these kind of complicated looking problems. All right, so for this problem here, I'm looking for, if I just cover this up, I don't even tell you what this is, inside of there, if I put 11, the absolute value of 11 is 11. So whatever's in there should equal 11. Oh, wait, by the way, it could also equal a -11. So that's why whatever's under here, I'm going to say equals -11. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this and say, okay, well, this is 3x plus 2. So 3x plus 2 must equal 11 or a -11. So there's two separate equations we have to solve here. Okay, I'm going to go through the equation solving pretty quick, assuming you know how to do these. Okay, you can just do that on your own, but the main thing is writing the two equations. So x is 3 here, 3x, if I subtract 2 here, I get -13. It's a division. And x equals -13 thirds. Now, technically speaking, you put the word or, you don't put the word and, because you can't, a number can't be 3 and a different number at the same time. It has to be this number or this number. Doesn't mean you can put one answer or the other. You still have to put both answers with the word or. All right, that should be a good start. Maybe if you feel comfortable, try this one on your own. And pause it and then check your answer. But under the stuff has to equal 10. Or this stuff could be a -10 because the absolute value of -10 works. So whatever's under there is -10. All right, so then erase and see what's under there. Oh, it's a 4x plus 1. Has to be 10. 4x plus 1. You can substitute a -10 in for the 4x plus 1. Solve both these problems. So here I'm going to go 4x equals 9 because I'm subtracting 1. So I get x equals 9/4. We're going to divide both sides by 4. And here I have 4x equals -11. Subtracting 1. Divide both sides by 4. I get -11/4. Put the word or between. Circle both answers. And everybody's happy. Number 3, so we're going to keep flying through these. 2x plus 3. Oh, without even thinking, I was going to screw up already. Absolute value of something is -7. This is kind of a trick question. How can this is distance. Can't have a negative distance. So in this particular problem, there's no solution. Right when I was ready to fly through these, I caught myself. Okay, you can't put a 7 in here because the absolute value of 7 is 7. I can't change that -7. It is what it is. And I can't put a -7 here because the absolute value of -7 is also +7. I will never get a negative number on the outside there. Okay, unless they try to fool you and put a negative out front, that would be different. This doesn't have that there, and you can't just add it on to change the problem. So no solution is the answer to that problem. All right, now we can go through these. Now we have a negative in front of the x. It's going to make it a little more complicated, but nothing too much different here. And the 7 here is positive, so that's good. So I'm going to write 3 minus 2x equals 7, or 3 minus 2x equals -7. Now it's confusing if you're just looking at this. Why is it a 7 or -7? Unless you're thinking, cover this up and make a 7 and make that a -7 to make the absolute value to be positive. Okay. And then just solve those two equations separately. So I have -2x. I'm going to get rid of the 3 actually. Now this negative goes on the 2, not the 3. So I should get 4 there, divide by the -2. X is -2. Here I'm going to go negative 2x. I'm going to subtract 3 here and get negative 10. And I'm going through that pretty quick. Slow it down, you can see how it gets there. So 2 answers right there. And the last one, 5 minus x. Oops, move that over. 5 minus x. I'm trying to rush here because school's about to start. 5 minus x equals 9, or 5 minus x can be substituted with a negative 9. If I put a negative 9 in here, whatever's that absolute value of that works. Or if I put a positive 9, absolute value of that works. So solve the two problems for x. Keep the negative on the x, or the minus. Maybe if I think of plus the opposite of, that might help. Now this is a positive 5, I'm subtracting 5. So the opposite of x equals 4. So x itself must be negative 4. Or if I subtract 5, I have the opposite of x equals negative 14. So divide by negative 1, maybe, or just think the opposite of x is negative 14. So x itself must be positive 14. And I think that's all I have made for you. So go ahead and practice these a little bit more. Hopefully this helps a little bit, and kick butt on the tests.